Chemistry. Chemistry is the study of composition, structure, properties, and change of matter. So generally in chemistry, when we said chemistry is a branch of chemistry that trying to study the chemical composition, the structure, properties, and how the matter change. Like for example, if you have a solid, in chemistry you check what are the composition of that solid, what are the structure of that solid, the properties of that solid, and how it change in both physical and chemical process. And that is what we describe chemistry. So in chemistry you can study everything, you can study anything, you can study human being, the composition of human being, the structure of human being, the properties of the human being, and how human change over time from the point of birth up to the stage of each and aging system. So that actually the concept of chemistry. It deals with the study of everything, because matter is anything that has mass and occupies space, so everything is matter. Branches of chemistry. So we have so many branches of chemistry, which include physical chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, nuclear chemistry, biophysical chemistry, quantum, polymer, environmental, and analytical chemistry. All these are the branches of chemistry, because chemistry is always trying to look at the different areas, which include the organic compound, how they are formed, how you can also apply the physics knowledge or the biophysical processes to understand matter. Like for example, in organic chemistry is a chemistry of living, while inorganic chemistry is a chemistry of non-living, while biochemistry is the chemistry that trying to study living organisms using a molecules, because in biochemistry you are trying to study molecules and how they are important in maintaining life processes. We also have environmental chemistry, but let's look at some of the branches of chemistry. Starting with organic chemistry is the study of carbon and its compound. And organic chemistry is divided into hydrocarbon and non-hydrocarbon. So generally organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry that trying to study the carbon and its compound, because all compounds that contain carbon, they are described as organic compound. Although there are some exceptions, there are some compounds that they contain carbon but they are not described as organic compound, like metallic cyanide, metallic carbide, metallic trioxocarbonate, CO2, and carbon monoxide. All are compounds that contain carbon but they are not organic. But generally in organic chemistry, all compounds that have carbon to hydrogen bonding, they are described as organic compound. And we have hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon are compounds that contain carbon and hydrogen only, while non-hydrocarbon are compounds that contain other atoms apart from carbon and hydrogen. Example, ethanoic acids. Then inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry is the study of chemical compounds that do not contain carbon-hydrogen bond. Examples, we have minerals and oxide. So generally in inorganic chemistry is a branch of chemistry that actually deals with the study of compound that actually do not have carbon to hydrogen double bond, like the metallic cyanide that we said, although they have carbon but they are inorganic compound, or they fall under inorganic chemistry. And we have also a lot of other compounds but that they do not contain carbon, they contain other element, and they are all described as inorganic compounds. So that is actually inorganic compound, and we have so many of them, and most of these inorganic compounds, they are found in non-living organisms. And then the next thing is physical chemistry. Physical chemistry is the application of techniques and theories of physics to the chemical system. So generally we have techniques and theories of physics. So when you are applying the knowledge of techniques and theories of physics to a chemical processes or to a chemical system, that is what described as a physical chemistry. So physical chemistry encompasses a lot of areas which include thermochemistry, which include chemical kinetics. There are so many areas that actually or that are found under this physical chemistry. Like for example, under thermochemistry, we are going to look at uh, exothermic, endothermic reaction, and so many other things. So physical chemistry is one of the difficult area of chemistry that the student usually have challenges, because it's the area of chemistry that encompasses the knowledge of physics and chemistry at the same time. So that is why it is very, very important, if you want to understand the concept of physical chemistry, to understand physics. And then the next thing is analytical chemistry. Analytical chemistry is the study of separation, identification, and quantification of the components of the matter. So generally we have a component of matter, and of course in the matter you can have different chemical compound, different materials. Like for example, in plant, a plant is an example of a matter. So in a plant there are so many compounds that are identified, separated, and quantified, that are known to have many curative effects that are used in the treatment of some diseases. So if you actually get a plant, you identify a particular compound in the plant, you separate it, and you quantify that particular compound, it means that you are applying the knowledge of analytical chemistry. So there are so many drugs that are available in the market that are identified, separated, and quantified using this analytical chemistry. So it means that analytical chemistry is very, very important in medicinal chemistry, in trying to identify a novel drugs. And then the next thing is biochemistry. Biochemistry is the study of chemical processes in a living system at molecular and cellular levels. So biochemistry is actually a branch of chemistry that trying to look at the chemical processes that are taking place in a living system, both at molecular level and cellular levels. Like for example, the molecules that we usually study in biochemistry, we study macromolecules like DNA, RNA, protein, carbohydrate. We also study sub organelles of the cells like mitochondria and also the cell itself. So generally, if you take biochemistry from PhD down to undergraduate level, all we are doing, we are trying to study molecules, how they are related to the organelles of the cells, and also the functions of the cells. Because we know that DNA is the language of life, that is, the genome is responsible for transcribing to produce RNA, and the RNA produce proteins, and the proteins are the structural and the functional unit of each and every cells. So the physiology and the anatomy of a particular cell depend on the proteins that are produced from the DNA. So in biochemistry, we are studying life at molecular level, and that is why if you really want to know life, so try to understand the concept of biochemistry. It is an interesting area. That is why, in fact, you must understand biochemistry before you go for medicine. Nuclear chemistry is the subfield of chemistry dealing with the radioactivity, nuclear processes, and transformation in the nuclei of atoms. So in nuclear chemistry is actually a subfield of chemistry that trying to study radioactivity, nuclear processes, and transformation in nuclei of an atoms. So generally in nuclear chemistry, it has so many advantages, ranging from especially in actually radiology. The radiology is a subfield of medicine that trying to use the application of nuclear chemistry in treatment and disease diagnosis, like X-ray, because generally radioactive substances are substances that usually emit radiation. So those radiations that are emitted by nuclear compound or by nuclear elements is through the process of this radioactivity. So nuclear chemists are exploiting the application or the advantage of those radiations emitted by radioactive substances in treatment and disease diagnosis. And then the next thing is polymer chemistry, is the field of chemistry that focuses on the structures of chemicals, chemical synthesis, and chemical and physical processes of polymers and macromolecules. So in nuclear chemistry, so in polymer chemistry, we are exploiting the use of the structure of compound in their chemical synthesis, their chemical and both physical properties in development of the polymers. Generally, we have so many products of polymers, like the cloth we are wearing and so many other things that are the product of polymers. So generally, polymer chemists use the advantages of the knowledge of their polymer chemistry in actually development of polymer materials. That is why we have what you call a textile engineering. A textile engineering is a field of engineering that exploits the use of the polymer chemistry in development of so many industrial products that are used in entrepreneurship. So you can actually use the knowledge of chemistry at the same time in entrepreneurship.